Welcome to DROD'S MMA and Boxing. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. The trilogy that we all been waiting for is up next. Listen, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this pandemic, if we can find one thing that's actually came good out of this pandemic, is the fact that we're actually getting real boxing fights. I mean, up to now, we haven't been able to get any good boxing fights, but now we're getting Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. We got Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. We're getting Terrence Crawford versus Sean Porter. I mean, we're going to get Canelo versus Plant. I mean, we're finally getting some quality boxing. And I don't know if it's probably because the pandemic is forcing people to do things they normally don't do because, you know, everyone is hurting for cash at this moment. I don't know. But it's something that is well overdue. Deontay Wilder is a fighter that I have bashed in the past because he has avoided top fighters for such a long time. And now he's fighting Tyson Fury. Listen, I honestly believe the first time he fought Tyson Fury, he thought it was going to be a walk in the park. Second time, he said, okay, you know what? I'll just go in there and knock him out. I laid him out twice. But then Tyson Fury has switched the style up. See, this is a tale of 3 different fights. The first fight, Tyson Fury came out dancing, looking cute, you know, nice head movement, nice jabbing. I mean, he looked like a lightweight in there. And then somewhere towards the end of the fight, Deontay Wilder realized something that Tyson Fury didn't realize, and that is, listen, man, you're 6'9" with a wide body, standing at 253 pounds. You know, you don't play hide go seek. There's a reason why heavyset people don't play hide go seek. Not, I didn't mean to be mean, but seriously, you being 6'9", 253 pounds, and you're bobbing and weaving, it is nothing to land a shot. And so what Deontay Wilder realizes, you know what, instead of landing for the head, let me aim for the chest, and I'm gonna land somewhere inside the ballpark. And then what happened was Tyson Fury was bobbing and weaving, so Deontay Wilder landed a shot on top of the cranium, on top of the back of the head. And then he followed up with a hook, and he dropped him. Now, you would ordinarily believe that that was an illegal shot, but it's not illegal if you're actually evading a punch and you're actually putting your head in a position so someone can land a shot in the back of the head. So that is an unspoken rule that people know, that if you are putting your head in position to get hit, it's going to get hit. And so it was a legal shot that kind of buckled Tyson Fury's legs, and he fell down. The veteran that he was, and hear me out when I say this, the veteran that he was could have just got up. But, and we've seen this happen so many times with fighters where they take a hit and then they want to show how tough they are, and they don't get the full count, and then they go out there and they get knocked out. Tyson Fury took his time. He took the 9 count, stood up, and survived the round. And so that's a savviness. That's a veteran's move that you just, you know, you would think it's common sense, but it's not really common sense when you're dealing with people's egos and pride and the adrenaline and everything. The pressure from the build-up from the fight is all accumulating. And so fighters do things that they know not to do, but they do it anyway. And then in the 12th round, we had the iconic knockdown, the best round in this decade, in my opinion. Reason why, it wasn't because it was such great boxing antics. It was because Tyson Fury became the Undertaker. You know, once again, Deontay Wilder managed to drop him. He blinded him with this jab, and he dropped him. And it looked like he was down for the count. And Tyson Fury came up like the Undertaker, came back and actually took it to Deontay Wilder and had him stumbling in that 12th round. Now, the reason why I say this is a tale of 3 fights is because in the second fight, Tyson Fury realized something that he hadn't realized before. Number one, if you're the bigger man, my friend, if you're the bigger man, and if you guys are watching this and you're a tall fighter, you have to understand that your advantage is your size, it's your height. So why would you reduce your height to the level of your opponent? That's the biggest thing that he realized, and I believe his dad realized that. And so they went out and they got Sugar Hill, which was Emmanuel Stewart's protege, who believes in standing tall, who does not believe in bobbing and weaving, and believe in using a big, powerful jab. So that adjustment was different in this fight. He used his height. He's 6'9" with a larger frame. So he used that to his advantage. And I believe it helped him out tremendously, because if he had to use the same strategy, I think Deontay Wilder was more ready and equipped for that. And he was ready to drop Tyson Fury if he did that bobbing and weaving stuff again. So basically, it was a tale of two fights, because now Tyson Fury was standing tall. He was pushing Deontay Wilder on the back foot. He wasn't trying to look cute in there. He was just being a dog. He was just taking the fight to Deontay. And I don't believe Deontay Wilder has ever experienced anybody coming after him in that fashion. He's used to being the person who is going for the kill. Even if someone did pressure them, they didn't actually go to knock him out. Tyson Fury went in there to be a dog, and that set Deontay Wilder back. Now, in the second fight, you know, we've heard so much commotion about glove gate, costume gate, butt gate. I mean, every type of gate there is. You know, I got poison, all kinds of stuff. What hurt Deontay Wilder and what took his legs away from him was the fact that Tyson Fury was landing punches. You see, him being 273 pounds for this particular fight, he realized, listen, I may not have a huge knockout percentage, but because I'm able to land something, just the weight and the force for my body weight is enough to hurt you. And then you can see in the third round, just that jab was starting to take its toll on Deontay Wilder. And yes, you could say he was hanging on him, he was using his weight. All of that stuff is great. But you didn't see Deontay Wilder visibly shaking up until after the first knockdown. Tyson Fury was landing clean punches. And it was all because he was taking the fight to Deontay Wilder. Now, the tale of three fights. Because I believe now this is going to be a different fight, hopefully. And Deontay Wilder is saying, okay, you made your adjustment. Now I'm going to make my adjustment. So he went out, he changed his corner. Apparently he's going to be 240 possibly. And whereas normally he's 215, in the last fight I believe he was 220. So he's going to try to be 240. And he's saying now I'm going to disguise my right hand. So I'm going to come in there and be more of a polished boxer. And I've had take time off, and I'm able to recuperate and be a different person. So that's why I said this is kind of sort of the tale of three fights. And we're going to see who can make the better adjustment. Now the question is, can Deontay Wilder, at his age, be able to make these adjustments this late in his career? He's going his whole life boxing this way, being wild, knocking people out, not necessarily needing any type of form or technique. Now you're asking him to be able to become a strategist, to think about something that he hasn't done. He hasn't even had a fight after the Tyson Fury fight. So that's where this fight becomes very interesting, because they're trying to sell the fight as being, this is a fight where Deontay Wilder's a changed man. We'll find out if he's a changed man, because everybody has a plan until they get punched. And then you can see whether or not he's able to revert back to his old self. I'm not saying he can't. I'm just curious to see if he can. And so this is going to be a very interesting fight. The first fight was kind of sort of weird. It was a weird scorecard. Most people had Tyson Fury winning the fight, even though he got knocked down twice. One judge had Tyson Fury winning, even though he was knocked down twice. I kind of started to think that's kind of baloney. We had one judge that had, no matter what happened, Deontay Wilder was going to win. That was baloney. And then we had one judge that had it a draw. That was baloney. And the reason why I say that is because this is typical. You see this happening anytime they're trying to turn $20 into $200 million. They're going to have one person whose scorecard is strongly favoring this guy and one person who's strongly favoring this guy, and then they're going to make it seem like, oh, well, we have one person that's fair in the middle. So that's my opinion. They wanted this $200 million, I say $200 million fight. And so it's fine. We're getting a trilogy fight. It's going to be very interesting because one thing I noticed in the first fight was that Tyson Fury had Deontay Wilder biting off his feints, both first and second fight. That tells me all I need to know, because if he is still biting off those feints, then that means that Tyson Fury is going to be able to get him off his game plan very easy. So whatever game plan his coach has, if his mind is still thinking about the second fight in the first fight, and he still comes in there biting off those feints, he's going to come off his game plan very easily. He's going to become rattled, go back to his old self. It may even confuse him at this point in his career. And so that's my assessment. Yo, this is DROD'S MMA and Boxing. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more boxing and MMA videos. And y'all tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think that Deontay Wilder can change his style this late in his career and make adjustment? I will tell you guys this, for you Wilder fans, he did land some punches on Fury in the last fight. So if that's any consolation, if that's any encouragement to place your money on him, that would be it. The fact that he's still able to land punches, that is very promising. You know, that could be your 20-30% chance to help you choose Deontay Wilder. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Peace out.